organised these or any ceremony each other since childhood. I can definitely say that in asking me to be one of his best men hasn't been his best idea ever. I think you'll find out in the next few minutes why that is. Also, he was saying earlier on about the toilet roll. It's very true. So he was a little nervous. So just to start with the formalities, I think the first set of thanks have to go to Mr. and Mrs. James Cox. Such a brilliant day. Also to the bridesmaids Jodie, Lorna, Lindsay, Sam and Katie May. And to the ushers Daniel, Josh and, well, his second dad Richie. Also it says to thank James and Jade on behalf of the bridesmaids for their lovely presents. And that goes for everyone else who's just given gifts to as well. So, in writing the speech, I was thinking what James is like as a person, and I think to all people in this room, he's a different person, if you like. So, some people know him as the DJ, as a window fitter, maybe as a comic. No. I've got to find my own now, I'm sure most of you will agree that he has got a tendency to exaggerate, though. He's also got a bit of OCD, and he did tell me this morning that he knew the marriage was going to be a success because he tapped the kitchen work surface first. Ever since childhood, his childhood, James' sessions, some have fizzled out over time, others have persisted. As many of you will know, James did love his garden gnomes until one day West Sebastian. James likes things that are big and loud, such as his love of tractors. I think Henry used to call him the tractor baiter. He also goes on and love for his fire engines and obviously James lorry. And James. In talent, James developed a new love. It was that of machine guns. He said it was quite nice not to be firing blanks for a train. As a philosopher, James has, at points in his life, made some very insightful comments. For example, we were in Dartmoor one Easter. It was the Easter that the Queen Mum had died. And James was about 15, was about 12. Being told not to draw attention to himself, sat in the pub drinking his shandy. Anyhow, I'm hearing the news that the Queen Mum's death. He decided to stand up in the middle of the pub, propose a toast. Here's to the Queen Mum. That's it. So, James seems to be doing a good job of continuing the Cox family history. He's either the third or fourth generation to be living in Burnside. The only tradition that he's not so far followed is to be a baker. I suppose what I'm pondering is whether James will return from the honeymoon with a bun in the oven. So I suppose all that's left for me before I hand over to Ben, if I could start you to raise your glasses to James and Jade, the bride and groom. Also, if we could ask Pam to stand up.
afternoon, ladies and gents. Just for those who don't know me, my name's Ben. However, if you see me late at the bar, you can call me with my other name, which is Ben, would you like a drink? I'm sure I'm going to need one after this. I think this is about the first time I'm going to stand up and tell a few stories without James interrupting me. He has this habit of asking a question, and before answering that question, he's thinking of the next one. He never listens, I tell you. I first got to know James properly about 10 years ago, when we realised that we shared a passion for discos, flashing lights, music, and of course Beck's beer. He likes his beer as well, I'll tell you. James was the annoying young child who always used to bug me along with his intelligent father. I was doing discos for family members, and James would always be up there and he'd be saying which button does what, and obviously Paul was underneath the table trying to fix things, well, break things really. James was a spitting image of his dad Richie. I told you it was coming, didn't I? Not the first time. James became very keen to come along and help out with discos, and then finally one day I actually gave in and said, come on James, come along and give us a hand. The first disco we used to do was at Marlborough Football Club. This was quite a few years ago. It was a regular gig for me. James came along and he made friends with all the locals on the first night. There was one particular guy called Sean, and he was a big fan of James, and James was definitely on par with Sean's conversations. It was like a house on fire, believe me. But this guy, he thought that James was called Martin. He used to call him Martin all the time, because obviously the kit's made by Martin, so the shirts and the cases. And James become Martin all of a sudden. We've become very close after Marlborough, and James used to help me with all the discos, and eventually he's come on to do discos for himself. He's become a massive part in New Record Disco, and he's been one of my main men. And I can always rely on James. He's one of those guys I can always phone up and I can rely on him. And James, you really have been a good friend. And I appreciate it. And now, I just recorded that, by the way. I said it quickly. Thank you, I'll say it again. And now to the bit where James met Jade. As you've heard before, we were all working at Hilton Newbury. It was at Christmas, we were doing all the Christmas parties up there. James started off by helping me, and then he started doing his own discos up there. As soon as he saw Jade, he came over to me one night and he said, "That girl is hot." He said, I like her. Obviously I told him that he didn't stand a chance and forget about it. Because we always used to chat up all the bar staff. It was a good chance we would get free drinks or not, obviously. And James likes free drinks and free things, to be honest. You're on, Paul? And then after a few nights, to my surprise, he said he had been texting her, and obviously he's texting, they turn the phone calls. And then they used to have these secret meetings in the Lambourne suite as well. Obviously, I don't know what went on in the Lambourne suite. I'll leave that to your imagination. And then obviously after the discos, we always used to take the girls up to Cheevely Services for a nice breakfast. James used to know how to treat a lady to a good slap up there. Cheevely Services was right on his par. I didn't mean that, though. There was lots of songs that reminded me of that Christmas, and there was one that stuck out in my mind that Jade always used to ask for. It was a song by the Black Eyed Peas, and it's called "Shut Up, Just Shut Up." I know that if he should be saying that to James for the rest of her life. Jade and James spent a lot of time with myself and Joe over the years, and from this we all discovered some really good friendships. We really were inseparable for about 7 good years, and we went to some really good places all over the UK, and we had a great time. I'd also like to thank Joe for helping me write my speech. Sorry? I wrote it. He never finds his way. Obviously, we've had some really nice beer tonight. Thank you, James. But we always did manage to find our way back, and we really are good friends still, which is great. And I'd like to thank Joe again for doing that for me. I'd like to finish by thanking James and James for asking me to be the best man tonight. Really is a big honour. I'd like to say a nice you look day today. And of course, all the bridesmaids as well. That is about all I've got time for tonight, because I have just been set up. But I'd like to finish by proposing a toast to Mr. and Mrs. Cox.